It's Teneca. Welcome back to another Conscious Rant.
They say the crack is kind of like incense. They say the crack is kind of like incense. They say the crack is kind of like incense. You got to be careful not to trap yourself in someone else's web, a very well spun web. When you actually hear the truth and you understand, when you hear the truth and you understand that you done got, by the time that hits you, you've already taken your piece of the pot or of the pie, and you've compromised yourself with these people. You've compromised yourself. This is why it's so important for people to, man, you just gotta think for yourself. You have to think for yourself. And if you don't believe in any higher power or any higher being, the way that you can always check yourself is, I just live by the golden rule, man. You treat people how you want to be treated. You take yourself out of the game. You take yourself out of the running. Some people take themselves out of this life, and I don't mean by way of the physical death, but spiritually, morally. You just don't compromise yourself. Be unwilling to compromise yourself. Envy, greed, lust, jealousy. Jealousy will do it. Why did you allow yourself to participate in this whole shenanigans? Why? If you're not asking yourself these questions, that is the biggest problem. Because before somebody can come in and check you from the outside, you should be checking yourself from the inside. We should be checking ourselves from the inside. That way it's not based on some doctrination, for some spiritual practice or belief from some God that you have to believe in, worship, follow. You're not even in submission or obedient to this thing that you claim you believe. Because when you steal someone else's inheritance, you ain't even fighting that person. You're not even taking from that person. You're taking from the one who left the inheritance. That's who you are essentially robbing. People think that they can just do anything. And for a time, they may be able to. You may be able to. There's a reckoning that comes. It comes, and you will not be able to plead ignorance. I didn't know. What you do know is that you would have appreciated being on the other side of the manipulation, of the robbery. It got back to me. I was supposedly a woman of the night. That's what I am. That's what's being pushed about me. That I'm lust hungry, attention seeking, man hungry. And I'm just like, in what world? In what reality? How? It's gotten back to me that it's being said and spread that I am incompetent, mentally and emotionally incompetent. I've raised 3 children. It's just I'm disclosing a little bit of my own story, and your story may differ. This could be you, or you and your family. The families are just like, these people will watch you go through some of the hardest, most difficult trials, and not only abandon you and abandon the truth in the situation because of their own, again, jealousy, envy, but they will spin your story to others. My story has been spent to many, and I'm just like, all you got to do is come and talk to me. There's no way that idea or that thought can exist in your mind if you actually go and talk to the person that you're hearing the mumbo jumbo about. It's like these people that are talking and spreading things, they forget that you have the ability to speak for yourself. And once you're able to, my father used to tell us and remind us about what it says in the Bible about the ears try the truth the way your tongue, your taste buds try food. Your ears are like, do I like that? Does that sound right? What is that? You just have to pay attention. You have to pay attention, but so often people try to see what resonates with them. You can't even see that there's a narcissist attacking your mind, trying to bend your mind against someone else, a bully, an actual bully, because all that you see is, I used to know somebody that looked just like her. You might already have just a smidgen of, anyway. So when I come on here, I come bearing gifts. Whether you see yourself as chosen or not, you may see yourself as targeted, and to me, they're synonymous. I just want to help peel back and pull back the veil, this thing that keeps us fast asleep and oblivious to what is truly spiritual warfare. That's what it really is. When people do things to attack you and alter your life, to alter your status, to create a bump in the road, just to throw you off of your trajectory. Again, for me, like I say all the time, why matters. I push that. Why does matter. I mean, some people be like, well, it don't matter. No excuse in the world. It does. When you're coming from a place of love and compassion and empathy, like before I can let myself retaliate against and even sometimes confront, again, your ears are trying the truth. They're trying that information, trying to see, because I know you actually have no reason to be moving like that. Why would you be moving like that? Why are you moving like that? What would have to have been in your heart for you to have said what you said, for you to have taken what you've taken, for you to have fronted and, completely like Tyler Perry play written, what would have to have been in your mind or in your heart that compelled you to move as you did or to believe as you did, and in ignorance you didn't even come to me, or you didn't come to the person who this is about. On the flip side of that, the ones who are being targeted, you can feel it can be such an isolating experience. But in that isolation, for those who resonate in that isolation, but people don't realize they just thrust you right up to the altar, baby. They thrust you right up to spirit's like front door, right up to the podium, right up to the heart of God, man. All they've done is push you closer to the real truth within yourself, because you know you didn't deserve that. You don't deserve that. I encourage you to be strong, and to speak your truth, to speak up. Speak up. And I come on here and I share the truth in the way that I consciously choose to share the truth. Because I know the power of speaking from a place of love. That's genuinely what's in my heart. Another scripture that came to me was evil. How does it go? Evil flees when no one pursues it. I'm going to look it up just to confirm. Cesspool of lies. Are you ready? At the end of the day, the truth reveals itself, and what side of the truth you are on, you have complete control of that. I haven't wanted to necessarily disprove any of the lies that have been told about me. That's for the listener to do. Whenever I hear something that doesn't sound right to me, something that sounds unfair, anything like that, I'm careful to not form an opinion, to not take action right away. I'm all about trying to understand, like, why would you say that, or why would you do that? Oh, because you were jealous that I had a mother and father that loved me. You were jealous that it appeared that we had money that we didn't have. It appeared that I was something that I wasn't. And so you may be standing in a position trying to bring justice to a situation that you really don't know nothing about. And it's like, well, I can understand how they would think this, and this, but why they would take the action that they took is something completely different. That's the part I don't understand. But when I get to those blockages in those places that I genuinely, like I'm a fish out of water, I genuinely don't understand what I'm looking at. I remember that there are some layers and levels of ignorance that are meant to protect us. I will come to understand whatever this is when it's time for me to come to understand it. Like I look back, there was oh my God, okay, so story time, right? So I'm 9 years old. My parents had just separated for the first time, and I was visiting. They separated. We were living with my grandmother. I was still being allowed to go over and have sleepovers with someone I thought was my best friend. I call a lot of people my best friend, and they turn out to be straight up enemies. And it's like, there's something wrong with you. But anyway, she had read my diary, and the diary revealed that I was experiencing some abuse. She took it to her mother, and her mother confronted me and told me, hey, I'll give you until Sunday. After church, if you haven't told your family, I'm coming over to y'all's house during Sunday dinner, and I'm gonna spill the beans. And I was just like, we're already basically homeless. We've been displaced, and so I don't want to bring that negativity, to that drama to my mother. And I'm only 9 years old at the time. So, but that is a cycle that a lot of abused children will have experienced, that we are being thrust into the position of protector because we were not protected like we should have been from people that did mean us harm, from people that did actually hurt us, people that did injure us. And I was genuinely thinking like, well, that's just going to cause us to get kicked out of my grandmother's house. I didn't say anything. And that ex-friend's mother, and she spills the beans. All the women in the house, all of them, the ones that were family, the ones that were not, they got me up in a room. And asked me about the diary, asked me about what I wrote, and I said everything that I said in there is true. I have no reason to lie. I didn't share that with the so-called friend. She was being nosy and read my diary. She read my diary. And she was in a position where she could have actually helped me. She and her mother. And then everyone that heard after that. Do you think that that's what happened? That is not what happened. I was shamed, and then I was shown. The way it was expressed to me was,
after all that your grandmother has done to build up this family name, the honor that she's brought to this family and to this house.
And they basically, I was a smear on her reputation, the good reputation that she had built. And that hurt me so bad. They swept it under the rug, and the only reference to that ever came out, the only time that was referenced was whenever I was shamed. Something that people claimed that they didn't even believe, that was constantly thrown in my face. And there was a cousin who would ear hustle and listen to his mother in adult conversations, who was already jealous of me. I didn't know it back then. Who out of nowhere, like in front of the family, just a few weeks after that, jealous that my mother was my mother, my father was my father, that I was who I was in the family. And he would just blurt it out.
That's why you blah 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 blah.
And I never even wanted to fight. Anyway, I'm saying all of this to say that when people get information, they choose what they do with it. We all consciously choose. You can choose to investigate. You can choose to, anyway. And so it's a whole lifetime of that cycle, And I kept calling that person my friend, just assuming that she was moving from a place of love. This is how we can pull the veil over our own eyes. Assuming she was moving from a place to love, the same person watched me marry someone that she knew was basically, I won't say betrothed because it's not betrothed, that was promised to another woman, to another girl, and I didn't know. I had no idea. I'm like, you want to reveal it the day after I get married? Like, of course, me and her stopped being friends for several years. And then when we came back together, she came back when I came back to the United States. This same girl brought over the best friend of the other woman when I had just given birth to my children. And I was just like, why would you do that? There's so much. Just we all choose is all that I'm saying. We all choose. I never chose to retaliate because at the point that all the stuff was happening, I'm really just trying to understand, what the hell is this? Why is this happening? Like, why did she think that was okay? Why did she think I would never wake up to this? Why? There were a lot of whys. Gots to be, baby. Gots to be. I have to say, I do a lot of talking retrospectively about things that I've gone through, things that I've experienced. That does not mean that my life is not filled with blessings, filled with things that make me happy, filled with so many examples of ways that was made out of no way that I can't even take credit for, that I can't even begin to explain how the good even happened. I'm just grateful for that. The main reason why I speak up about the things that I speak up about and the way that I do is because there are so many other people that share this very similar, if not the same experience. And I'm always consciously just trying to pay it forward. It does matter how you react because bad things happen to all of us. It does. But how we choose to react, what we choose to do in a situation that just you are the underdog. You do not have the upper hand. Things happen. Life happens, and I'm just the way that we respond. The reflection of your healing is that you can talk about these bad things in a way that you're not, that I am not. I'll just speak for myself. When I start saying you, it is suggestive. It's a suggestion. I'm suggesting these are other ways that you can also respond, or you can also evolve. You can also take in the information in this way. You open your mouth. I open my mouth, and I mean to help people heal. And that's a journey in and of itself. That's a journey. I knew that I was doing good. I won't say that I was healed because nobody has ever truly healed, but I knew that I was on the right path and I was making progress when I could speak about my exes and not call them a bunch of MFs. I didn't have to point out all their flaws. Like even in my videos, I talk about my exes like they were amazing men, and they were and are amazing men. Their only issue, which it wasn't even a flaw, it just meant that we were not right for each other, but it's just that how they treated me. And no, I'm not saying they were the only ones that did wrong, because there's a cause and effect for everything, and there's a response. People are responding, but I mean, in every relationship, you have the person that is causing things, and you have the other person that may be responding to some things. How can you tell where they're getting their orders from? You get your orders from the dark, from evil entities, or are your steps being ordered by the Most High? I use those terminologies because people like to try to shield themselves and hide behind doctrines that they really don't even believe in. They don't even practice. Some people think that being religious means going to church. It's nothing to do with going to church. You ever been in one of those families or around one of those families or just observe people who they may go to church every Sunday, and that's all that they do is go to church on a Sunday. But whenever your back is against the wall, all they had was venom and poison to spit. They couldn't talk to you about having a praying spirit. They couldn't talk to you about having faith in anything. They never exercised that. These are people that when they see other people that are down, they would make a funny of it. It's funny to some of these people. It's funny, but really it's not funny. And this is how I know who serves who. Without you ever even telling me. You don't have to answer the question. You don't have to tell me who it is you're serving. Your deeds and your actions tell me who you serve. This is for anyone that's paying attention, anyone that may have similar observations and maybe considering formulating an opinion about what they're looking at. Don't go on what people say. Go on what they do. And I don't mean go on what happens to them. It's about what they do. In a situation when they had the opportunity to maybe shed light on a situation, did they choose to be messy or did they actually open their mouths and speak life into a situation? You just use your Use your own mind, okay?
Thank you for joining me on yet another Conscious Rant. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I encourage you to seek the truth, speak the truth, and be the truth. Thank you again.